Well, hello, my friends. I am so excited to be here with Tobi Mathouser. She is the president and CEO of Goodwill of Omaha. Tobi, thank you for joining me today.
Yeah, thank you, Andy. It's always fun sitting down and talking with you. I'm excited to be here with you again.
Yeah. Um, all right. So I want to start off with because I just love this. You came into the Goodwill um family back in your
Hmm.
20s.
Yeah.
Because you're no you're president and CEO now. But let's go back and why did you decide to apply or
Yeah.
to work
Uh,
there?
yeah, you bet. So you're right. So I started at Goodwill in 2006.
Okay.
I was in my early mid 20s. I think before that, I had two other short stints at two other nonprofits here in the Omaha area and got connected to Goodwill from those other nonprofits. And applied to be a supervisor in one of our youth workforce development
Yeah.
programs at the time and got the job. And I think I was probably like many people before I knew that Goodwill had workforce readiness programs. I just didn't know. I really just thought about Goodwill as retail stores and didn't really know much about our programs that helped people get back into the workforce. And then once I got to Goodwill, I knew, just like you said, I knew that it was my family. I knew it was my home, and I knew I wanted to be there for as long as they'd have me.
Yeah. And I mean 2006, you're getting on your 20th anniversary
Yeah.
of being there. And I mean things have changed tremendously from the time I'm sure that you when you joined. And Goodwill has been this place in our community where we do donate our
Mhm.
items to, and we do, you know, everybody knows the name Goodwill. But let's talk a little bit about the organization first. We're going to dive into some other questions, but who do you
Yeah.
serve? And yeah, what's kind of the yeah? What do you do? Who do you
Yeah.
serve?
You bet. So we serve the community, and we are fortunate to be able to serve anyone in the community who might be in need of services to help them either gain more success in the workforce, re-enter the workforce, or overcome some barriers that they're struggling with to be successful or to enter into the workforce. A lot of times, the individuals that come to Goodwill are individuals that are struggling the most. It may be someone who is homeless. It may be someone who has a criminal background. It may be someone who has a very poor work history that just needs some help addressing those things. And they come to us to receive services, job readiness services, training opportunities. Or employment placement to help them get back into the workforce and to remain successful in the workforce. That's what we've done in the Omaha community for 90 years, and we are good at it. So we work one-on-one with individuals, find out, where are their skill sets. They might not think that they have certain skill sets, but they do. And so our case management team works with them to identify those skill sets, talk about their desires, talk about their interests, and really try to match them up with a meaningful employment
Yeah.
opportunity. And we use our relationships with employers to help people get a foot in the door. And if it's additional training or other skill sets that they need to get that foot in the door or to advance within the workforce or their opportunity, we work with them to do that as well. Our mission is really to strengthen individuals and strengthen communities through the power of work. And so everything we do is focused on helping an individual to be successful in the workforce.
Yeah. Well, let me ask you this question. So, how many people? I mean, I have like so many questions. So, I gotta break them down. How many people that come to you that are looking for employment? I mean, have they been to college? Have they had no college? Have they, are
Yeah.
they, what, who is this person? And I know you probably have like a grand span of
Mhm.
people who these are, but I'm just, yeah, I'm curious about that.
Yeah. I mean, typically, Andy, it is someone who has not been to college.
Yeah.
I think that, someone who has been successful in post-secondary education,
Yeah.
doesn't necessarily need the resources that Goodwill can provide. Or there are other entities in the community that
Mhm.
can provide better services than Goodwill can for those individuals,
Yeah.
right? We really do focus on the individual who is struggling.
Yeah.
The person who doesn't have a high school diploma, or maybe they've exhausted all of their educational means and need a different option as far as getting their high school diploma goes. Or that person who, for whatever reason, they just are not able to hold a job and keep a job.
Yeah.
Those are the people that we serve. I think it's really individuals that are kind of down on their luck
Yep.
and need a helping hand and really need a case manager that is going to work with them on a one-on-one basis to give them what they need. So, everyone is different. That doesn't mean that we can't serve an individual who has graduated from college, because we can. But typically it's not that person. Typically it's that person who needs a little bit of extra help.
Yeah. And I mean, when you look at the, with in our communities, people
Hmm.
and their circumstances and whatnot, it's all unique and they're all individual. And, you know, how they happen to come there or how they, what their life is. I mean, it's just to be able to have the opportunity that you guys give them. I just think it's huge. And,
Yeah.
I want to
And
talk a little bit about when when I think of Goodwill or other people think of Goodwill, I mean, we think of donating our items.
Mhm.
And by donating our items, it employs a lot of people. And let's talk about
Yeah.
that. And then also all these people that can really make a difference in their lives and in their families and the ripple effect. So,
Yes.
yeah. So let's
Right.
talk about donating items. I'm going to donate.
Okay.
I got a bunch of jackets in the back, which I do.
Yes.
And I'm going to drop them off at Goodwill.
Hmm.
What happens with that? Because I know we talked earlier before we went on camera, um, is that there is this huge ripple effect. It's not just us giving you stuff for free. There
Right.
is so many lives are impacted. So I'm going to
Hmm.
let you kind of take it from there.
You bet. So yes, absolutely. Our donors are essentially our lifeline, and we do not take that lightly. Our donors are those individuals that are coming to our store and bringing their items that they no longer need and
Yeah.
sharing it with others, right? Um, our customers are also our shoppers, right? The individuals that are coming to our stores and making those purchases. We know that we truly would not be in existence without those very generous people. When an individual brings us an item, that item is hopefully it stays at that store where it's donated, so it's staying in that community that it's donated in. Um, and it goes through a life cycle, a donated goods life cycle. If it doesn't sell in that store during its life cycle, we then transport it to what we call our rock, which is located on 72nd and F Street.
Okay.
And this is our retail outlet store. So it is one last chance for that item to sell, and we sell it by the pound at this store.
Hmm.
Um, if it does not sell at our retail outlet, we do everything that we can to recycle that item, reuse that item,
Yeah.
so that we can divert it from the landfills.
Yeah.
We are very much concentrating on our recycling efforts. Right now, we are recycling about 8 million pounds of items every single year. And that is anything from clothing to wires to shoes to purses to electronics. And so, one thing that I want everyone to know is that there are some things that we can't put out on our sales floor, right? If it's a blouse with a stain on it, or if it's a
Yeah.
pair of pants that are ripped, we don't repair those things, but we recycle those things.
Yeah.
If someone brings us one shoe or a coat that has a broken zipper on it, that's okay. We will recycle those things. And if you're not able to keep it out of the landfill, bring it to us. We will do our best to keep it out of the landfill.
That's so important because there's so many things. I mean, I'll just speak to me personally, looking around my
Yeah,
home. And when I moved a couple of years ago, I had so many clothes. And I donated most of them to the Goodwill. And
yeah,
but I really did like, well, do they want this? Will they take this? And it just knowing that, you know what, you guys, you take them and then you look at them and everything does potentially get repurposed, recycled,
mhm,
and
yes,
there's not, um, you don't have to overthink it. By
yes.
It's so important. Wow.
We want to be the best stewards
Yeah.
of every donation that we receive. And
Yeah.
so that means going through every effort to do the best thing that we can do with that item, no matter what that item is. Our goal is to increase our recycling poundage, to decrease our trash, and we are on the road to being able to do that. We are working our way towards being a zero waste agency. We've got work to do, but we want to continue taking steps in that
Yeah.
direction so that we are doing everything we can with those items before they have to end up in a landfill.
That's amazing. I want to talk about the people you employ because
Yeah,
I heard you speak not too long ago, and you and some team members talk about the people you employ, and
yeah,
that is just so important because our donations, they employ the people you employ
yes,
that are making a huge difference. So
right.
talk about that.
Mhm.
Yeah, take it away.
Yeah. So, Andy, we are a large organization. We have 18 different retail store and training center locations, soon to be 19. Our 19th store will open in October of 2024, and that will be on 192nd and Maple in the Elkhorn community. We employ about 715 employees today. And that, of course, the majority are retail employees, but that spans across our support departments, our mission programming employees, our contract employees, and of course, our retail operations and logistics team. Um, what I really want people to understand is that their donations do so much more than probably anyone realizes, right? The donations that we receive, the sales that are made in our store, allowed us to give $3 million back towards our mission programs, our workforce readiness
Wow.
programs,
Okay.
in 2023 and in 2022. And we are on track to give back that same amount in 2024. Those donations and those sales also provide employment opportunities for those 715 individuals. And, there are many of our employees that use Goodwill employment as a stepping stone.
Mhm.
So sometimes in our workforce readiness programs, our mission programs, we're helping to place people out into other employers in the community. And sometimes those individuals will go through our programs and become Goodwill employees. We're a stepping stone for them.
Yeah.
We don't want someone to stay at Goodwill in an entry level type of employment. But you know what we do want? We want to help them become a better employee. We want them to come to us and receive training and upskilling so that if they want to stay with us, they're a better employee. And if they see another opportunity outside of Goodwill, then we are helping to get them there. We're
Yeah.
helping to develop their skills so that they can go and get another opportunity. If that's outside of Goodwill, we're happy for them. And if it's inside of Goodwill, we're even happier that we get to keep them. But that is what our donations and that is what our sales go towards. It goes towards the development and growth of our employees, but also those individuals that we serve in our programs.
Yeah, and again, I witnessed that last night when we had this event, and really got to meet some of the people that
Yeah.
in these different roles. And I don't remember the names. I would call them out. Can you call them out?
Yeah. I can, and I'm only calling them out because I know that they
Yeah,
would be proud
yeah,
to share their stories. So, one of the people that we heard from last night, her name is Chantel.
yeah,
She
yes,
started off as a cashier in one of our stores, I think about 16 years ago. Chantel is now the uh, director of our entire retail operations. Chantel um, she has grown up at Goodwill. She
yeah,
has held multiple different positions within Goodwill, and she has grown her talent at Goodwill. Coming from a cashier from when she started to overseeing our entire retail operations,
huge.
what an accomplishment,
Yeah,
right? That's just one story. And she just happened to stay with us at Goodwill, right? There's so many other
yeah,
stories of people leaving Goodwill. Janelle is now our Chief Operating Officer. Janelle started about 17 years ago with Goodwill, and she started off as a store manager. And she, again, was able to develop. We have a strong culture of learning and development
yeah,
with our employees. And, she was able to take advantage of that and grow into her now position of Chief Operating Officer
yeah,
over our mission operations as well as our mission programming operations. So she's just another testament to someone who has been able to grow and develop at Goodwill. Um, I am also an example
yeah, yes,
of this. I started off as a case manager in a program and took a supervisor position with Goodwill from that program, and had a lot of people believe in me and give me opportunities along the way. And now have the honor of being CEO of Goodwill here in
yeah,
Omaha. I said to you earlier, I think when people hear the word Goodwill, they equate that to opportunity. And it doesn't matter if you're a Goodwill employee or if you're someone who comes through our programs. I think a lot of people hear the word Goodwill and they think opportunity.
yeah,
And, we're just three people that are a testament to that. And hopefully the thousands that come through our programs every year are also a testament to that.
yeah. And I would absolutely agree, Toby. I mean, really understanding, you know, the depth of what Goodwill does for our community, and I mean, and for communities around the country.
Yeah.
It's just, I mean, it's huge. And knowing that, when we donate and we give items that we no longer want, we don't
Yeah.
need, there's this ripple effect that just goes far
Mhm.
beyond anything that we honestly can even imagine. Um,
Right.
so, um, I just want to, I'm kind of going through because again, I was able to really kind of experience something that is beyond like what are our talking points for this conversation.
Yeah.
But, but let me ask, okay, what's next for Goodwill?
Yeah.
What's next? I mean, you as the president and CEO, I mean, what's your vision? Where do you, what
Yeah.
do you want? Where do you say things?
Yeah. Andy, it's really interesting. The retail, the sustainability, even our economy and
Mhm.
workforce environment is moving so fast right now.
Yep.
What is next for Goodwill is actually being talked about right now. We had a strategic plan that went through 2026, and earlier this year, we realized that we can't wait until 2026 to take a
Yeah.
look at our strategic plan. Things are moving too fast in these
Yeah.
areas, and we need to start looking at how we can keep up with the pace now. So we are actually in the middle of an early strategic planning session. We're using our kind of headquarter agency, Goodwill Industries International, to help us work through that
Okay.
process. But we're looking at our retail growth. Where do we need to have additional stores? We are, and training centers. We just opened up a new training center at the Lake and Human Service campus in Council Bluffs
Mhm.
earlier this month, actually. We opened up another smaller training center in Northeast Omaha on 45th and Nicholas last year, as well as our Stockyards location on 36th and L last year. So we're doing a lot of great things, but we've got to keep up on that pace. What are the communities that need us to be in? And when do we need to get there? And so we're taking a look at our retail growth. We're also taking a look at our sustainability practices. How
Okay.
can we get better? How can we take those items after they don't sell in our stores? And how can we reuse and repurpose
Yeah.
those materials? And can we create job opportunities that correlate with those reuse and
Yep.
recycling efforts to create more jobs for more people? We have, a big relocation project coming up in the next couple of years. So we're gonna grow. We're gonna continue to make sure that we're relevant, that we are
Yeah.
strong, so that we will be here for another 90 years. We are going through an employer needs assessment right now, so that we can work closely with employers to find out where their pain points are, what they need from us, what we're doing well, what we could do better at. Because we know that employers are driving our workforce programs.
Yeah.
And so we want to make sure that we stay relevant in that arena as well. We've been very busy over the last couple of
Uh,
years. And
right.
so
Yeah.
we want to maximize what we have and be very strategic about our growth in the future. And that is what we are looking at right now.
Well, Toby, first of all, I just want to thank you. And wow, you are making such a huge difference. Goodwill is making such a huge difference. I got one of those employer emails and filled that out uh, because I want to be a part of the growth. Midlands Business Journal wants to be a part of Metro Magazine. We want to be able to help you move forward. But again, this conversation, I just feel like really helps people understand the bigger picture uh, of the organization because it's big. I mean, it is big and it has to keep growing. Expanding out versus contracting. I mean, contracting just doesn't, that's just not an option.
Yeah.
Um,
Right.
so
And
yeah,
we
so,
hear it all the time, Andy. If you're standing still, you're not growing,
yeah,
right? And there's such a need not only for, affordable household items and a place for
yeah,
people to bring the items that they can no longer use so that they can be recycled or repurposed. Along with our mission programs, we owe it to the community to stay relevant and to stay here for a long time coming. And
Yep.
so I'm very proud to lead such a wonderful group of individuals that I know will be right by my side to take us into the
Yeah.
future.
All right, last question. Where can viewers find out more about your organization? I know that it's been going beneath the screen here, but people want to get back, or your location's website is
goodwillomaha.org.
okay.
And we also, let me mention this because a lot of people were surprised in the conversation that we had last night, that we also have an e-commerce platform where people can shop
Okay.
online for items.
Yes.
And people can shop at goodwill.org. And that is an online shopping platform. It's very similar to kind of an eBay
Yeah.
feel where you can bid on items. But one thing I will say is that we don't expect people to understand all of our programs. And it's okay if people don't know exactly what they're looking for or exactly what they need.
Yeah.
So I would also say to pick up the phone and call
Yeah.
us. The number is 402-341-4609. You don't have to know exactly what you need or exactly what you're looking for, but call us and we can help get you there.
Yeah. So much. So, oh my gosh, just this wonderful conversation. Thank you for taking the time. And yeah, you know what? Goodwillomaha.org. And then you've got the online store. And I'll just speak from a woman in my later 50s. I have so many clothes that I don't want to wear anymore.
Yes.
But the opportunity for somebody to pick something up and then to go to their first interview or a job interview
Yes.
or just to have fun. I mean,
Right.
yeah, I just encourage everybody to just like, yeah, look in your closets and what can you get rid of and give
Yeah.
somebody else just something really amazing to
You know, I
yeah,
heard something really interesting on the news the other day, and I think a lot of people will recognize this name when I say it. But her name is Ginger Z, and she's on Good Morning America.
okay.
And she took a challenge for herself, and it's something like she took a challenge to not buy anything new, and she's going on 2 years of not buying
Yeah,
anything new. She's buying secondhand clothes for work. And it's really her commitment to the environment.
yeah,
But it's great. For the last 3 years, I've bought my gala dress
yeah,
at Goodwill. And I have challenged our entire team to do the same. And so it's fun. I think that the younger generation is thrifting a lot, but us 40, 50-year-olds can do the same and
yeah,
have fun with it.
yeah. And before I let you go real quickly, you have like some pop-up shops that I'm sure that they can find them on your website, but I know you had one.
Yes.
I go to 84th and Center
Mhm.
a lot because I pick up my mail there. But I know you had like
Yeah.
a bridal gown or a bride pop-up shop, but you're doing those types of things around the
Yep.
community. So
Yes, we're doing, I would say seasonal
yeah,
pop-up shops.
yeah,
And so, follow us on
yeah,
social media at
yeah,
Goodwill Omaha. We did a bridal pop-up earlier this spring. We did a spring pop-up. We're doing a summer pop-up soon, and we'll do a back-to-school pop-up as
yeah,
well. So, getting all of those back to school items, all of those wedding items in one place to make it convenient for our shoppers who are looking for something specific.
yeah.
And we hold those throughout the year.
Yeah. All right. I could probably talk to you for like 2 or 3 more hours,
Yeah.
but we've got to end it. And
Yeah.
Toby, thank you so much for
Thanks,
this
Andy.
conversation. And yeah, you're an amazing woman.
Well, thank you.
And just where you've gone and your commitment to the community and to Goodwill. So Toby,
Yeah.
thank you.
Thank you so much for helping us to spread the great word of our mission and the impact that our customers and donors have on the community as well, Andy.